In today's culture, chasing the small business dream has never been harder with rising supply costs and labor shortages. But small business dreams have never been more alive. Here to encourage, offer small business insight, and connect you to your maker community. Whether you're working in your studio space or out sharing your story at a farmer's market, welcome. We are John and Sarah Collins, and this is the Modern Forestry Podcast.
Hey guys, this is John Collins with Modern Forestry here with Kevin from Beard Joy.
Hey.
Kevin, how do you pronounce your last name?
Slocum.
Slocum.
That's it.
This is Kevin Slocum. Kevin Slocum, he runs his own business. How long have you been in business, Kevin?
Since 2014.
2014. So that was actually the same year we started, except we started on the day right before 2015. So
Okay.
What month did you start your business?
August of 2014.
So you've been going for a while now. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So is that all you do? Do you just have your one business, or do you?
No, I actually work for a company out based in Texas, and so I've been working for them since 2005, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
And since 2018, I've been working remotely for them. So, like before, all the cool kids were doing it, like I was doing the remote thing, and so yeah, I do that full time. And then I do Beard Joy, and then I do a little bit of property management as well. So
okay. Wow. Okay. So you've got three different hats that you put on.
Yes.
So
yep.
and now are you married? Do you have kids as well?
Yep. Married almost 19 years. It'll be 19 years in August, and then to my wife Casey, and then we have a son Zach who is 14 years old, and he just texted me earlier today with a picture. Because he's about to go into high school. And the picture was of a shirt that says Class of 2026, which is not far away. And that just kind of hit me. I was like,
you a little bit.
that's great, buddy. And I'm like weeping, So anyways, yeah, so that's my family.
Well,
yeah.
that's very awesome. So
yep.
So we're going to talk about three different things today.
Yep.
The first thing I want to talk to you about, because a lot of our listeners are probably going to be interested in small business, how to start it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your story about how you started, why you started. And how you can juggle all that you're able to juggle. And then the next thing I want to talk about is how that plays out into your personal side. How can you manage the work-life balance?
Mm-hmm.
So because you got those three jobs that you're into.
Yeah.
And then so how do you manage all of that? What are some of the ways that you're able to accomplish that successfully? Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that, and then the third thing we're gonna talk about something that comes out of our conversation.
Just wing it.
We're gonna wing it. That's exactly
Love it.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, that's how you small business.
Yes.
So first off,
indeed,
tell me about the story of Beard Joy, because first off, what is it? What is Beard Joy?
So Beard Joy is a company. We're just a company that kind of caters to guys that have facial hair. So it was born out of a need. In 2012, I started growing a beard for No Shave November, which is a big thing.
Yep.
Google it if you don't know what that is. It's a good thing. And I just thought, you know what? I've never really had a full beard before, so I'm just I have a month and an excuse. And so, like, if this looks terrible, then okay, but at the end of the month, it's gone, whatever. And anyways, I started growing it and just kept on growing it. Well, soon after I started growing the beard, I started realizing, you know what, this is kind of dry and itchy and scratchy, and I'm just not enjoying this process. So I thought, well, I know I'm not the only man in the course of human history to have, a dry beard, so there must be some things out there for men with dry beards. And so I found beard oils, and I tried 4 or 5 different brands, different scents, and I didn't like any of them, really. And and that's not to say anything disparaging, I just didn't like them. Well, I kind of thought, well, I'm not like a genius, but I could probably do this myself. Right, so did some more research, found some carrier oils, which is the kind of the base, the majority of the beard oil that you get in the bottle, and found which carrier oils work best for the skin, work best for the beard. And then same thing with the essential oils, which provide the smell, but then also like there can be some remedial value to these essential oils as well. So I started with my first beard oil, which was a mix of peppermint and tea tree, which are both very good for the skin and beard and all that stuff. And just handed it out to a few of my bearded friends. Just, hey, this is a little project I'm doing for myself. And they were the ones that kind of motivated me to get started in business, because I did not think that I had an entrepreneurial bone in my body,
So it was your community that helped you to think through whether or not you wanted to turn your hobby into an actual business.
Yeah. They were the ones that motivated me to do that.
See, that's really, really awesome and interesting. It brings up a good point. It's really hard to do something like this unless you do have some sort of communal support.
Absolutely.
So, like, was it one or two individuals who were behind you? I mean, obviously your wife was, I imagine your wife was supportive as well. So
Yeah, I think so. She supported me. Then, I had 2 or 3 guys that just were like, this is literally the best beard oil I've ever tried. And these were guys that had beards, like substantial beards.
lots of wisdom on their face.
Lots of wisdom growing from their skin. And I don't know what that
emerging
I don't
out
know
of
what
the
that
pores
means.
of their skin. Love it.
But they had tried different beard oils before, and they said that I'd struck gold. So
good.
It was kind of from there that we developed a logo, and I knew that I wanted it to be called Beard Joy, because like I was not experiencing joy with my beard. Like it was, and that's even our motto is enjoy your beard.
Yeah.
That kind of led me down the path towards getting the logo made and getting the name, and then starting to sell on Etsy and stuff like that. And so,
Yeah, so you started with Etsy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that interesting too, because that was that's how I know when we started, is because I look at our Etsy shop, and when that was started, it was started a day before. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so you started on Etsy, which is an online marketplace, and competing against other.
Yep.
Do you still have an Etsy? Are you still selling there? No longer. Okay.
No longer.
So, yeah.
No.
You moved over completely away from it.
Yep. Just completely over at beardjoy.com.
Okay.
And that way I don't have to, deal with Etsy stuff.
Etsy fees and everything.
Right.
And I think the fees have gone up. I need to double check, but I think actually here in the last year the fees
Really?
went up too. Yeah. I know on eBay it's gone up quite profusely.
Yeah.
But that's less craft and that's more other things. But
Right.
So that's amazing. Did you have any doubts?
Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah. I mean, I did not feel like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I'm doing. Like but I feel like if you are in business for yourself, if you're not there, if you don't have a little bit of doubt and like, screw it, I'm going for it anyways.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's a foul word here, but I mean, then you're not really living. Like, I mean, there has to be some trepidation. There has to be some, holy crap, how are we going to do this?
What did I just do?
What did I just do?
Yeah.
What did I just start? And I can remember, because I had a guy helping me with like my Facebook page, and I'm just like a super private person, introvert. And I remember when he was helping me, I had him as an admin on the Beard Joy Beard Oil Facebook page, and he was like, boom, we're live. And I was like, I'm gonna need adult diapers. This is way too out there for me. And lots of doubt, lots of fears, lots of just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Okay, so that was your way of overcoming. Because that was my next question. Like, how did you overcome the doubts and the fears that went along with all that goes into starting a business?
Yeah, you just have to, or you're gonna pack up shop and never do anything in your life.
Yeah.
And I want to be an example to my son that business isn't all easy.
Yeah.
Not everybody turns out to be, you see whoever, Elon Musk or whatever. I guarantee you his to-do list every day is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The things that he's had to overcome, crazy. And it's the same thing with anybody in any business. You're going to have to just adapt or die,
Okay.
So, yeah.
So I heard a couple of things in there. One of the things that I really liked, and that is a good segue. That's me writing a segue.
Yep.
A
Okay.
good segue into going into talking about family. But you said,
Yep.
One of the things that gave you the strength to overcome the difficulties that come with starting a business and pursuing it and overcoming all the emotions that go with it was your son and setting an example for him.
Yep.
And I know from personal experience that also providing money for your family is a good motivating factor as well to have success and overcome doubt.
Sure.
So let's talk then a little bit about family.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how in the world do you, Kevin, have 3 different occupations and still have time for your wife and still have time for your kids?
That's a great question. I get up really early. I do. Usually I'm up at 5.
Okay.
And the first couple hours of the day, really until about 9 o'clock or so in the morning, I'm just kind of focused on my day job, my work, answering emails, and all that's associated with that, because they're based in Texas. So I until 9 o'clock our time, which would be 8 o'clock their time, that's when they get to their office. I can have 4 hours of uninterrupted work. And then, the rest of the day is a little bit more easy for me. I can handle property management stuff. I can bottle up beard oil, and I can attend to my day job, emails, and instant messages and stuff like that, and phone calls as they come. So, yeah, I mean, it helps to get up before the sun. Like, I'm committed to that. The getting up, getting on the road, so to speak. It's my office, but my home office. Doing that early is key. I worked in one of their offices, from 2005 to 2018 in Texas, and it was kind of like 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and so much time before 8 o'clock is just wasted.
That's true.
I mean, when we lived out there, I'd get up early. I'd probably get up at 5:30 or so, and I'd just, watch some news and drink some coffee, but I didn't have to be anywhere until 8. So it was just like from 5:30 to 8 was, I don't want to say wasted, but it was just, I wasn't working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so anyways, now that I work from home, I'd say that I'm more cautious and more structured than ever before. So
your answer then to the question of how do you manage all of this is you structure it well, and then you get up really early.
Get up real early, get some coffee, get some work done.
Yeah.
My son gets up around 6:40 or so during the school year. So, I get to see him, and, he gets on the school bus and everything, gets out. My wife goes to work, she gets out. It's just me and the dogs, and, keep on trucking, keep on working.
And
so
you just crush it from there.
Yeah, just crush it. But, I mean, because I got that early start, if at 2 o'clock I want to take a 30-minute nap, cool.
Yeah.
If I want to go and get some coffee somewhere, whatever, get some lunch somewhere, I have that freedom. If I want to come over to John's house and record a podcast,
That's awesome.
can do that. So
yeah, I called you up because I was thinking all right, could we arrange a podcast sometime in the future? And you're like, no, I'll be over there in an hour.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, that's great. So, and that does bring up, one of the benefits of small business stuff, which you do have more freedom.
Yep.
And you actually have even more flexibility with your jobs.
Yep.
So and so I think that's great. I think being able to do that. Now, how do you, because one of the things that they've said, they being of course the professionals who know more than us about families, is that communication is key. So is there anything in particular that you do intentionally to communicate with your wife and kids when you're managing that time, that work-life balance?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's lots of saying no.
Okay.
Lots of saying yes, though, too. I love that I get to be home when my son gets out of school. I mean, he's 14. I think it's important that dads just kind of play a big role. And I know my dad was always there for us and everything, and so I like being able to do that. And he'll come home and he'll be like, "Hey, can we go to the gym?" And sometimes I'm in the middle of, I just got a huge project. I can't step away, so it's got to be a no today. But then tomorrow it's, heck yeah, dude, let's go, know.
Yeah.
So we're always texting and calling and stuff like that. I don't know. This is the official.
That's more of an Xbox.
Oh, that's Xbox.
Yeah, that's Xbox.
Sorry.
Right there.
Yeah, we.
It was close though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
T9.
So yeah, I mean, we're just always communicating even throughout the day.
That's good.
Yep.
Now, do you sit down to communicate? I think. Do you have like a
Oh, yeah.
weekly meeting where you like, okay, here
I don't know about weekly, but it seems like
calendar stuff and
yeah. It usually happens on our bed.
Okay.
Like we'll just have the dogs on the bed and the family gets on the bed.
Oh, that's
We're just,
cool, yeah.
just kind of looking up at the ceiling fan and talking. Oh, we got this graduation party coming up on Friday. We got this one coming up on Saturday. We got this, and it's funny because I start getting because there's regular me and then there's like business me.
Yeah.
And business me, I think my wife, right, yeah, different hats. I think my wife probably does not enjoy the business me as much as the me.
Right.
Because I'm always like, all right, well, we got this event coming up, and so we got to get the shirts done. We got to get the and that's the planner.
Yeah.
Enneagram 8 wing coming out, whatever. But yeah, I mean, you got to sit down and talk it out and figure out a way to get it done.
Yeah, what I love about that is that there's a family intimacy that you were describing where you're all just there together as a unit, planning out. Okay, here's our work stuff, here's our home stuff. I love that.
Yep.
I think that's so crucial. So my wife, one of the things I was talking with my wife about is like, hey, I'm going to be talking with Kevin and we're going to be talking about beer, joy, and business and family. And she said, one of the things you need to mention is that very few small businesses seem to be the men initiating the business in the family.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's interesting because even with us, the modern forestry was a hobby that Sarah started.
Sure.
And I supported. I'm like, here's some money. I gave her some money and she gave it back to me 2 weeks later. I'm like, okay, all in, baby. So that's really interesting and commendable too, that you were the one who said, hey, baby, I'd like to start a small business. What was her response? I wonder. What was her response to you when you said that?
I think it's been so long. I think she was just like, kind of go for it. I mean, it was, I mean, you talk about small business. This was like small business, I was buying, a dozen bottles at a time, you know what I mean? And
we were
like
going to Hobby Lobby and we were grabbing stuff from Hobby Lobby.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it really had been pretty small. We would do, when we were in East Texas, there were not events like crazy like there are here.
Right.
So we might have one event per quarter and we might make $300 at it or something like that, so it was not like this time-consuming, all-consuming thing. Like it was, okay, I know I've got an event in 2 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and bottle up 48 bottles of beard oil and keep my fingers crossed that I sell 12 of them or something, I mean, but like when we moved to South Carolina in 2018, that's kind of where it kind of started taking off.
You moved to South Carolina and that's where it took off. Interesting.
Yeah.
So it took off here because of the maker community.
I think so, yeah, for
sure.
So
that's something to note too, is that we're here in Greenville, South Carolina, and the maker community is strong. And it's been strong since 2015 and earlier before that.
Yeah.
The small towns around here, very supportive.
Very supportive.
So the city of Greenville, very supportive. The Greenville Farmers Market is unheard of. It's huge.
Yep.
And then you even have the Travelers Rest Farmers Market, which has been for us, was the reason of 3 reasons that I was confident of making this Sarah and my full-time business was Travelers Rest Farmers Market. So I want to give them a shout out.
Yeah.
They do. Miranda and Jessica, you guys do a great job out there. So
are you trying to get out of some vendor fees there or something?
So they do a great job. They really care about community too,
Yeah.
which is massive.
Yeah.
So so her response was, okay, this is kind of a hobby.
Yeah.
And then when you came here, that's when she started to take off. When did it become like, oh wow, this is a thing our family does? Like,
Yeah, I think when I started doing the 3-day markets, the vintage market days,
would you bring your family too?
If I can,
If you can,
if I can. Yeah, they've been to a few of them with me,
Yep.
and it's always fun when we can incorporate them. It's funny because when I do them by myself,
Yep.
I act like I'm a homeless man.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? Like I want to keep expenses low. I'm staying at
I'm
this
sleeping on that guy's couch.
crappy hotel.
We're going to Taco Bell.
We're going to Taco Bell.
Dollar menu.
But then, well, like you and Peter, when we were in Charleston,
Yep.
was that Charleston? Yeah,
Yep, that was Charles.
you know, we go out to this fancy Mexican restaurant. We have TCBY afterwards.
Yep.
It's like, yeah,
when your family's with you, it's like expenses
And
go triple.
the next day, we went to Hyman's seafood restaurant
Yeah.
downtown Charleston. I mean, it was just budget breaker, but
Yeah. But you're pursuing what it's about.
you are
Yeah.
exactly, and so, anyways, but it's fun. But yeah, I think those 3-day markets and you know, Holly Jolly was just
Kim Kelly,
crazy.
Shout out Kim Kelly, doing an amazing job.
Crazy, yeah. Like we had gotten word. I think it was 2020 that they reached out to us and said, "Hey, we're looking for
Bearded men selling
bearded guy
oil, yep.
stuff."
Yep.
And I was like, I remember we were actually at Texas Roadhouse when I got the message, and I looked at Casey, my wife, and I said, if we do this, like, I'm gonna need you there. We're just gonna have to hump it,
Yep.
you know. And she was like, "Yeah, sure," you know. Fast forward to we get set up. It's outside because of COVID.
Right? Yeah.
And we get all set up, and I look back behind me, and this is like still 30, 45 minutes before it's even supposed to start, and there's a line of 200 cars
Yes,
out
sir.
there, and I'm like, babe, we're gonna.
maker's dream. Right
It
there,
is,
yeah.
and like I never check my Square reports and stuff until I'm in the car at the end of the show, never. But like an hour in, I'm like, and I'm showing her.
Breaking
I'm like,
records.
yeah, I'm like, babe, we just in an hour shattered records. And
Beautiful.
that night went home, had to bottle up 200 more bottles of beard oil,
Yep.
sold them all the next day. I mean, and then last year was inside. It was even crazier.
Yeah.
So it's just those.
It's our biggest event every year.
Yeah, it's ours as well, and I love it. I love just just what Kim does is she's so organized.
Her marketing is better than anything I've seen.
She could teach a master's class in it. So
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
wouldn't that be a great idea? Like get all these other organizers like, hey,
Kim
come
Kelly,
to this class, please.
Yeah, like,
We love
Kim, you stay
organizers.
here, we'll
I'm
get the, no, I mean, organizers are just similar to us. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
a small business.
It
You're
is.
trying to figure out cash flow. You're trying to figure out,
Yep.
okay, I got events fees. I have to pay the
Yep.
venue fee. You have to be good at it is an art.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be an organizer.
Yeah.
I just let me set up.
Yeah. And you and I have experienced our fair share of good apples and bad apples too. So.
Indeed.
Yeah. So we have stories. We also I think I found the third question I want to ask.
Oh, great. Here we go.
So their third question I would like to ask you is, what is the future of Beard Joy?
Oh,
Do you have plans for adding employees? Is that something? Because one of the things I would like to mention is that constantly I think people are looking, especially in America, looking at the next best thing or the next big thing. With small businesses, it shouldn't be like that, or it will fail. Because if you're trying for something that you're not passionate about and you're not planning for, you should not do it. You should not pursue something because somebody else said this is what you should do. You should do it because it's a thing that you have planned for yourself to do. So with Beard Joy, and with Modern Forestry for us, we identified our goals ahead of time. So it may not be that you want to add employees. I'm not saying you need to have some sort of plan for the future,
Right.
And it needs to look like this. But what does the future of Beard Joy look like? Would you like to move over to it full time? Is it always going to be a part-time gig?
yeah.
So
Yeah. Good question. So, with that, part of business ownership is kind of keeping some cards close to the vest,
100%, yeah.
But I will give you a little bit. I am looking to clone myself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But I really need to, like, once the cameras are off and all that stuff, I need to talk to you about employees and stuff like that, because I just feel like if, there's, especially at the end of the year, so many great events that are on the same weekends.
That's right.
And I've tried the two
people,
two people in two different locations, and that works to a certain extent. But yeah, you've got to have the right people, right?
Yes.
And you guys, because I remember the first time that I saw Modern Forestry at an event, where I was also at an event. You had Carrie there, and I mean, she just has the biggest smile, and she's great, So props to you for hiring well. So I need to get that so that I can be in a couple different places at once.
Yeah.
And then I would say what's next is more products, different products that at first when you first look at a mountain, it's like, oh, this is so high and this is so crazy, but then you just start taking steps and you're like, oh, you know what, I'm halfway there,
Yeah.
And so there's a certain product that I've just not wanted to pursue.
Yeah.
But I've had people asking for it. I wasn't excited about it. I just started dabbling with it, started playing with it, started realizing, this isn't as bad as I thought. This is actually pretty good. This wears well on the beard. It smells really good. Okay. So anyways, we got some more products that are going to be coming out, and it's all, to serve our community.
Right.
I mean,
can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
You said something beautiful, and I want to make sure that people get this.
Oh, thank you.
Good business is good service. It's good serving. And I've got a podcast coming up about selling and how to sell well. I might bring you into it because you got some good ideas too. I think we're on the same wavelength for this. But the thing about selling is, like, how do you make it not look like you're
Selling.
you're pushy.
Yep.
You don't want to be pushy. And that's to have the right mindset. And the right mindset for running a small business, the reason that we want to support them, our small business folks, is that because these are people who have decided to be in a leadership position to create a good or a service for the community and to provide it in a quality way that's going to cause a relationship to happen between customer and you.
That's right.
And a customer and the small business. And so it's actually service.
Yep.
It is actually serving people, and that's an interesting thought.
So on my display, if you come to a show, you'll see a sign that says Beard Joy on the sign that faces you, but on the side of the sign that faces me, it just says serve. And that's my goal, right?
Yeah.
Is to just, because I realize that not everybody that shows up is a customer.
Yep.
And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
That's a great point.
I don't chase. I attract. What's meant for me is going to find me. Mm-hmm. And my goal is to just serve. And if they get it and they understand, this actually is going to be good for, for my face and my skin, and maybe my wife will love how it smells even better. And I mean, so I see I'm just solving problems and serving.
Exchanging a valuable proposition and saying, if this adds to your life, this is what I would like to contribute. And then the communication back from them is the currency, is the payment for the product. So yes, I would like that value. Would you exchange, would you use this as value? So money is just a unit of value, and our products are units of value as well.
Absolutely.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So that answers my question then. I think the future is that you're interested in releasing new products and hiring more people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which would communicate a trajectory of growth.
Yes.
Is what you would like to see. So
this is my growth trajectory.
So very important. You mentioned the website before, but go ahead and mention it again so people can find you there.
So it's beardjoy.com, and then we're on Facebook, Beardjoy, Beard Oil, and then Instagram, The Beard Joy.
The Beard Joy.
That's us.
Kevin, thank you so much for coming on the Modern Forestry Podcast.
Thanks for having me, brothers. It's been fun.
It has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This is joy.
Sometime we'll do like story time, like
That'd be great.
like Charleston hurricane force winds.
Yep. Well, I'm heading to Lake Lure
Oh.
and this weekend, and that should be clear. The weather should be clear, but in the past, this I've seen tents
Fingers crossed.
toppled and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
we're bringing a lot of concrete. We're gonna bring down some tents.
Just have Peter just like
I think he would fly up.
Right,
I think he
wouldn't he?
actually weighs less than the tents do right
yeah,
now.
exactly.
So thank you so much for viewing this podcast or listening to this podcast on iTunes. We appreciate you very much. You know how to find us, and we'll see you at the next podcast. Thanks.
If you'd like to support, one surprising thing that you can do is review the podcast. It helps more than you would think in iTunes, and it's very easy to do. Head over to iTunes, go to Modern Forestry Podcast, and drop a review. You can also do it on your podcast app if you're using an Apple device. Thanks so much for listening. We're grateful for the hustle.